Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 664. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Feinside,
Ahoy!
and Tony Korkanakis.
Yo.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers. We are live on Twitch starting Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. Please join us. We're on YouTube for all of the content. If you miss any of these live broadcasts, all of our stuff's over on YouTube. So just because Twitch doesn't keep them over a week, so terrible. But you can go over to YouTube and catch any of the old episodes you want to see. And we're on audio stuff: Spotify, iTunes, the podcasts. You can always catch our audio versions of our podcasts on those things if you like to listen to them in the car. If you didn't know this already, and on those, I think we have older episodes, so you can go way back to some of the really old stuff. But anyways, this is the Gamecast 664. How are we doing, guys?
Good.
Let's see, Mike. For those just joining us, Mike is having video problems tonight, but he's on the podcast. You can always hear him.
Understand what's happening.
Yeah. So, yeah, guys. Gaming wise, I will say at least I'm in Act 3 of Baldur's Gate 3, which is good. But I have not finished the game like I wanted to. But I did slow down massively after I heard the conversations of Starfield. It didn't make me want to like play it immediately. So I'm not in a lot of rush. I'm kind of enjoying the world and the characters and the interactions from those characters because that's really what makes this game the most fun. And I gotta say, like, this game is just ridiculously annoying sometimes with the blunders, the crit, like just like I do an attack and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna own this character, and then
It's
like an 85% chance. Yep, 85% chance hit, and I'm like, I critically missed, and now that screws the whole strategy up. So yeah, it's like there's a lot of reloading for me on a lot of these fights now. I'm like this. I'm not even dealing with this shit. That's why I said just reload. But one of the things I did like about like thinking back to Elden Ring compared to one of these games is like at least you control that. Like yeah, I suck in that game. It's my fault. With this game, obviously, it's bad luck, literally. So I can get that argument for people, but I do love this game. It's really good. So it's gonna be game of the year is gonna be rough this year. Although Starfield sounds like it's out at least, so I can't wait to hear about some impressions from Mike on that.
And it's breaking records as far as players and stuff.
Oh, I know it is. It's doing very well, and I'm not saying I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying.
I don't know yet, so whatever.
Yeah, I'm just like game of the year contention. I don't know.
No, I mean we knew that. We knew that as soon as the initial reviews came out, and it was sub 90, because it needs to be over that to be in contention with Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate this year. So,
Mike, let me ask you, like, Fallout 4, what are you getting from the vibes in this game? Like, what is the impression?
I've still, unfortunately, I've been like half in it because I've been finishing Zelda as well, which I did do. I cheesed Ganon pretty hard in Zelda. Had like a triple shot bow and just shot 50 bombs at him and melted him.
Wow.
Because
to be fair,
I tried to do like the sword fight legitimately for a little bit, but like once he started parrying, I'm like, fuck you, I'm just gonna blow you up. So I did.
Fuck you, parry this.
Yeah. So now I got through that. I'm still playing the game here and there a little bit because I obviously skipped a lot of stuff. But yeah, no, I got to the end. It was nice. So
what do you think of that? What do you think of that finale though? Like the grand overall
stuff leading up to it. Well, leading up to it was pretty cool. I needed to actually sort of try twice because I didn't have enough.
Resources, right?
Gloom.
Yeah, you had no idea what you're getting into. Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, the first time I went there, by the time I got to Ganon, I had literally one heart available. I'm like, I don't think this is gonna work. I'm gonna load and go farm some Sunderlines for a little bit.
Yep, that's what I did. I talked about that in Discord. Like you get shocked by how crazy it is to get to him. But even like Ganon's fight, like I thought that was like amazing. It was
cool. Although I cheesed most of the actual fight with him. I had the other stuff to do, and so I did that. Also, the second time I went in, knowing what I knew about the armies, I just used what's it called, the confuse flower things,
yeah.
muzzle, whatever. I used that a lot so they would kill each other and got hit way less.
That's a cool idea.
So that
actually.
was
I didn't
fun.
do that. I didn't do
Yeah,
that.
that was. I mean, the whole game. I pulled an Indiana Jones basically at the end here. I just shot him while he tried to sword fight me.
I mean,
the whole game rewards lateral thinking. So I'm like, I'm not gonna fight you straight up. This is a lateral thinking game. I'm gonna blow you up.
No, that's exactly
screw
it.
You again.
It's funny because I talked about it a couple weeks ago, but I mean, I think it was Japanese users primarily. They were creating like Ultra Hand stuff, or not Ultra Hand, Fusion stuff, creations that literally just box Ganon in, so he couldn't do shit. Like he just he's stuck there, and is like they're like taking pictures with him, like pointing up, like selfies and stuff like that. It's just but who thinks about that, right? Because you're like, oh shit, this is the final boss. I got to fight him. It's like no, hold on, I could make a prison for him. It's like
someone made like a lemonade stand with him or something like that.
Yeah, and a ramen bar. Yeah,
yeah, ramen bar. This is a ramen bar. That's what it was.
I do see myself still playing it, maybe portable while I'm waiting for Carter to do stuff in the morning. But yeah, I'll play it a little bit. But yeah, onto Starfield. So I've been somewhat distracted, but I've still put in, I would say, maybe 6 hours in the game. Okay. The opening is not good. It's just not.
I heard that. But how long is the opening?
It's not. It depends, really. It's not that long. The thing is, like, you are given a ship, I think, within an hour, and part of you wants to just go do whatever and fuck off, and you can, but you don't really know what anything is yet at that point. So I see systems, I see a lot of things, and the general impression early on still is like, oh, I can't wait until I have this leveled up. The story is not that interesting yet. I'm waiting for there to be a catch kind of to what's happening, because it just seems a little random the way it starts. But I've done a few missions now. A few quests. There's a lot of quests, and there's the bases are. There's no people have said there's no sort of step out of the vault moment in this game, and there kind of isn't. The closest I would say is when you go to the first hub world, which is very similar actually to the Citadel, the way it looks for Mass Effect. And it's cool. It's cool to explore, and everyone's trying to give you a quest. But as far as the actual gameplay, the shooting's good. I wouldn't say it's great. There's a couple things, because the comparison I make to this is Fallout. Obviously, it feels like Fallout, but it doesn't seem like there's destructible bodies like in Fallout, which is a little disappointing to me. People don't explode like that, and you can't strip people of their shit. You can take their armor, but it's still on them on the ground. I'm like, oh, that seems like a step backwards. It's a little weird. Yeah, I don't know if they did both of those things to be a little less, mature or something. I don't know, but so far it's okay. But I really need to. I feel like what I'm gonna enjoy the most, and I'm a ways away from being leveled up enough to really get into it, is customizing a ship, making it better, and then boarding people or shooting people in the ship, because that is kind of fun when you do a dogfight. But you
just want the sandbox part of it. It sounds like, where you can just kind of mess around, do your own thing, build up your ship.
And you can. I've wandered around on a few planets already, and
Mike, you just want to be a space pirate.
But it goes back to how long do you invest into something before it gets fun? What's your time?
That goes back.
It's fun enough so far. I'm not. I do feel like I've had a little bit of a problem having two games at once, where I'm I could be doing one or the other, and I'm half in and half out. I do sort of look forward to actually diving into Starfield by itself now, which will probably help, and I'll actually, because I'm not quite at the point where all the in a game like this, you need to really. The first area I went in, I was overwhelmed because I forgot. It's been so long since I played a Bethesda game. How many things you can pick up, and take, and over encumber yourself with. I'm looking at because there's a scanner option, and you turn that on, and everything is that you can pick up as highlight, and it's so many things, and I'm like, what is valuable? What is the ratio of weight to value? Should I pick up? Like, I had no idea what I was doing, and it was very overwhelming.
But
One
like,
good thing I will say is that you do get over encumbered easily, but it doesn't really matter that much because you can still move just as quick. You just get your like CO2 level up, and it could hurt you eventually. So you can run for a little bit with it, and then it doesn't matter though, and you can offload everything into your ship mostly. We shall see though. I obviously the worlds seem very big. Seems like there's so much to do and see, but just scratch the surface.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is just the tip of the iceberg. It sounds like
that's the problem I have with what I've read about comments and stuff. Is this game gets good after 20 hours, and I'm sorry, but that's not acceptable for a game. It's not acceptable to have a game start and get good at 20 hours. So it's like how long do you want to commit to something before you give it up? And I think a reasonable time is probably, I think in a game a reasonable time is probably 6 hours, 8 hours. If you're not hooked by then, why are you playing it? What are you doing? Sometimes earlier than that, but I think if you really want to try something, if it's like 6 hours and it doesn't hook you by then, what are you doing? I think a 20-hour rule is stupid.
I mean, it's about pacing, right? Because I mean, like the thing is, like it all depends on what you're trying to do. Like, if a game's requirement, like I'll just take like a multiplayer game, right? Like League of Legends or Street Fighter 6 or something like that, where it's like 8 hours, 12 hours. I mean, that's nothing. You're still learning your character, right?
Sure.
That's different than, hey, here's a single player immersive simulation game, role playing game, stuff like that, where it's like, you want me to play how long? Like 20 hours, I could fit, a triple A, I can fit Last of Us, I could fit God of War, something bombastic, Spider-Man, exactly, Spider-Man 2, stuff like that in that window, and have, a very good game from start to finish, good to great to exceptional, without any issue. And that was, my thing with Final Fantasy 16, because remember, like, that game was a 40 to 50 hour, half-ass RPG, half-ass character action-driven game, where I was like, look, if they cut out 70% of this fuller bullshit and just made it a 15, 20 hour action game, it would have been way better. It would have been 9+ easily. And I would have been like, yeah, that's the Game of the Year contender. And instead, I'm just like, it's difficult. I get it, right? It's difficult because you don't want your early game to be just mind-numbingly boring, right? But you also can't, or I would say in Final Fantasy, like, it got worse the more it went on, where it was like, I just want this to end now. Like, I need this to end so I can move on, right? And it just sounds like Starfield's more, and I haven't played it, so I can't say, but, like, it sounds like Starfield's one of those things where, like, after this many hours and after you get all these abilities and progression in the story, then it becomes fun, right? Because I'm still seeing those people that are like, beat the game, like speed run through the game,
beat the game,
so you can play it again, and now it's fun. I'm like, what? That is so bizarre to me. It's so bizarre.
I've seen that.
I mean, it seems a little spoilery even to talk about it. Like, I have an idea of what's going to happen already. But people seem very impressed with the way this game does New Game Plus. Like, it sort of fits into the story somehow. I will say they are trying to be. It's oddly theological. This game. There's a lot of religious factions, and like, there's a like organized atheist group. There's someone who thinks God is physical and in the stars, and you have to find him. So, and one of my quests was like delivering a note from a pen pal from an old woman who's like, "I'm going to die now." So, like, there's thoughts in the game, and I will say the early thing is just trying to show you all the systems, really, and it's pretty overwhelming. There's a lot, but the other thing though is it makes me excited. Though I'm like, I can't wait till I can get there, sort of,
I would argue that that's a problem for. I would argue that's more of like, okay, like, I understand you're excited for that, and that's great.
But it's also the type of game this is. You're not going to play a Bethesda RPG and think, you're going to play like for 15, 20 hours.
It's not accessible.
One of these games, you're going to want to like play it for 100 hours. Like, you going in, that's you
I don't think I've played any
and that's fine,
hours.
Mike.
Not accessible.
I don't care, but the more the better if you're enjoying a game. But if you're not enjoying a game for 25% of it, which is the first 25% of it, then what are you doing?
I don't think it's really going to be 20 hours. Like, I like it enough where I want to find stuff already, like good. 6 hours in. So
I'm just
I think that 20-hour mark is kind of
some people
a
are
little
saying
oversaid.
that.
I've seen that a lot. So I've seen 20 hours.
Judge. I haven't played it. I'm just saying that has been said by people who have played it, which is crazy.
It's also one of those games where time goes quick. Like you'll do stuff, you'll get distracted, and next thing you know, you've spent like 3 hours that night, like doing what you think was not that much, but you were engrossed in it. So, I mean, it depends on what you're looking for.
That's a good sign. That's a mark of a good game right there. But it's like I'd argue that you need to make a game more accessible for, especially like a AAA game. I feel like a AAA game should be more accessible to people, not just $100 players.
That's Elden Ring. I mean, I don't know what that means. Like, you got to invest time into the game. You got to invest time into that game.
A flagship game. Let me rephrase that. Flagship game. This is a flagship game for Microsoft.
It's doing fine.
They need this game. But I feel like it needs to be like, if I could have
it's
my
doing fine, but it needed to be doing more than fine.
Yeah,
absolutely. But it should have been a Game of the Year contender.
I thought it would be.
If Last of Us 3 came out to these reviews, we would be talking like doom and gloom for Sony. Absolutely, 100%. And I mean, it got better reviews, and Last of Us 2 is still very controversial for what it had. And this is just like, come on, man. Like, look, I haven't played it yet. The reviews and everything I've said have not spurred me to push this up in my log, and I'm actually thinking about just delaying it until after Baldur's Gate 3 for me. But it just sounds like this is a game from 2013. Just looks better and has, some modern quality of life things. But I wanted more deeper RPG systems, right? Like Jim's been talking about Baldur's Gate 3 for weeks now. And all that stuff where it's like, oh, I did this, and then this happened, and then this happened. Like, that's incredible, right?
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's what I wanted out of this.
I chose 2 perks early on. I've experienced stuff from actually both. I've experienced a bit. I did the kid stuff one, which has the parents. I've seen them twice already. So, and I actually got an item for that. But I also have to pay them a little bit every week because that's part of the perk. So it's there. You just got to do it.
The thing for me is like, Baldur's Gate 3 exists. It's there. It's out there, and it's good. It's very good. And what does your game do better than what Baldur's Gate 3 does?
It's an action game.
I guess,
do action.
I mean, combat.
Different games. I mean, they're not trying to do the same thing, Jim.
No,
I would disagree with that because they're both RPGs, right? And they're both allowing you to do things that you want to do. Like, you create your character, you create your narrative, you create your backstory and stuff like that. It's just to me again, and this is just going review. I haven't played either game. I've watched plenty of both. I've read plenty of reviews and stuff like that. But Baldur's Gate 3 seems to immerse you more in that. Whereas Starfield, it's just kind of like, it's dressing. Like, what's the difference between any of the roles you're playing in Starfield? Like, how does that meaningfully change up the story? How does that meaningfully change up your gameplay and stuff like that? Because from what I read, everybody starts out as a miner. Like, you're like picking like space pirate, and you're a miner. Why are you a fucking miner if you're a space pirate?
Well, there's supposedly story reasons why, but you're new when you're a miner. You just got there for unknown reasons.
Yeah, to me, I could buy that a decade ago. These days,
Well, I mean, I'm sure Baldur's Gate, like, there's an inciting event that happens. I know that something happens. It doesn't matter where your backstory is. So there's an inciting event there too. So I mean, how do you avoid that?
I feel like, but the thing for me is like, it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna play this game. Like, I can't. I'm actually interested to play because I want to move into it to see how it compares to what Baldur's Gate 3 is and true freedom of doing what I want to do in a game. Like, Baldur's Gate 3 literally kill whoever I want, whenever I want, and do. You can throw any curveball at this game. It's like, okay, you're gonna do that. We're gonna change the story a little bit here. It's gonna work, but you're gonna do this a little differently. And I have not thrown a curveball yet that it's like, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you can't do that.
And one of the big things I saw was
that I saw you can't quite do that with everyone in this game, but traditionally, like I remember Fallout 3, I was impressed that you could pretty much kill anybody, and that would like close off some quests and stuff like that. I don't know how many people are killable. I know there's a few that aren't though, which is a little disappointing for sure.
Right, and then so the other thing, I was watching the streamer and they were playing like a bad guy route or a bad person route, whatever you want to call it, and it felt so weird to me that they had these companions that seemingly were intended for like they're goody two shoes, and it's like, well, why are you following this person around? They're a fucking douchebag, and like anytime the player is trying to do anything, they're like, wow, why are you doing that? It's like I'm a smuggler. I'm running fucking drugs, dude. Why are you here? Like, if you don't like what I'm doing, you fuck off. Like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, you can tell them to fuck off. You don't need you
Right,
there.
but why would they even follow you to begin with? It's like, hey, I'm Captain So and So. I'm a spice.
They tell you, they let you do your own thing when you join their group, even though they don't necessarily approve of everything they say. We don't judge you, although they'll judge you if they're there.
Well, yeah, that's fucking stupid. And again, just compare that to Baldur's Gate 3, where like you could kill party members, you can fuck with them, you could. Like, you could clearly choose, like, oh yeah, I don't fucking like you anymore. You're gone, like, out of here.
The game has.
Now you're making me like. I wonder if I might like save scum and try some of this stuff in Starfield.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, like, literally has thought of an idea. Like, you could literally kill everybody in this game.
I understand.
They gave you a guy in your camp, a dead guy that you can just hire people if you've done that. If you go through and kill everybody, you can just hire people to come in and join your party. So you know what I mean? Like, they thought of that. Like,
there is that. You can actually hire crew, which is pretty cool. I just need a bigger ship to fit crew.
So I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's going to be interesting for me to go to this with a game that has such a huge budget and longer development time, and I want to see what it can do.
It might hurt. I'm sure, like, in those aspects, this game is not going to look great.
And that's not necessarily the fault of the game, but Baldur's Gate 3. That's why it's impressive what Baldur's Gate 3 did.
Right, because Larian's an underdog. They're know they fucking came from Divinity and shit like that. Not Bethesda's top of the RPG world.
So it's gonna be interesting.
And the other thing though is because Baldur's Gate 3 is unique, and not to be the people who said you can't make that the the new level for everything, but Baldur's Gate was niche enough before it came out, basically, that it was allowed to be in early access for like what 3 years.
Yeah.
Like,
oh wow, yeah, it was well.
No other game of that size can get away with that. Yeah. This game, Starfield, couldn't be in early access for that long. Everyone would have jumped on and played it already and be like, "Oh, this is all broken already."
Yeah. So, I get what you're saying there. There's more.
That game is very unique in its development and what it was able to do by being niche enough and then exploding right when it needed to explode. If this game was in early access for 3 years, like 3 years from now, maybe you'd get all this that you want.
Sure, but that's the cost of being a AAA developer, I would argue. Yeah. Larian's not AAA. They can't afford.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah. I get it. Yeah, and that's absolutely true. I do agree with you, Mike, on that. So, all right.
But yeah, I think we should move on.
Oh, okay. Corey, what have you been playing? We're still on that, by the way.
I know.
That's all right.
So yeah, we just been playing a little more WrestleQuest.
Oh, nice.
But Tony and I went to a convention in the Poconos, actually, where they had like some import arcade games there. And most of them are rhythm arcade games, which I'm not a big fan of rhythm games. Obviously, I love Rock Band and stuff like that, but kind of moved on from those. But these are just like super unique because they're, using modern technology, touch screens, and different ways to create patterns and rhythms and all this anime and Japanese music and stuff. But there was one game there that was basically a piano setup, and it was called Nostalgia something Op 3 or something like that, and you could play classical music on it, but also had like anime theme songs and stuff. And that one I really liked. I just thought it was like, oh, this really like makes me feel like I'm playing piano, and so I enjoyed that a lot. And then there was another one called Scato or something. I don't know, something like that, where it's just like ping pong balls, and then like somewhat similar to like one of those like basketball hoop kind of arcade machines we have here, or just like these little platforms that are angled, and there's like a little hole. Basically, you're trying to get the ping pong balls into the hole by bouncing them on the edge of the machine that you're standing in front of. You're bouncing them, And so both Tony and I were playing that, and like we started off so bad, like how do we do, like what is this gonna be? And like I think we're like, oh, we were happy with like 70 and 80, and then towards the end I was like getting to 130, so I was like, yes, getting different styles of like, do you go with like the double bounce, or do you do like try to get like a shotgun, just throw them all on there at once? And
yeah, if you're a fan of beer pong, you'll like this game.
yeah, for sure. And yeah, so it was that was a lot of fun for sure. So
yeah, we played some Street Fighter 6 too.
Yeah, cool. Street Fighter 6. Yep. New characters are interesting. I'm not necessarily new characters, but seeing them in some of the classic characters and the new play style, and I really do like the counter system that they have there, and I've kind of come out of nowhere. It took a little while for me to get back into the swing of things, but I did come back a little bit on Tony.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh. Because you
had a good run at the end. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he had a good run at the end there.
But there are some interesting characters, because we obviously, some of them we haven't played or played against.
What were you guys playing as?
We played all of them. We tried everybody.
I think we got to play everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, yeah, it was awesome. So they had a whole bunch of like PS5s and Switches and some PS4s. I think they were there. Some like import
for Dragon
games.
Ball and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah.
Cool. Tony, obviously you were there for that.
Yeah, there for that. More Octopath Traveler 2, just chugging along with that.
Yep. I went to Legoland, so that was fun. Nothing really video game related though, but fun.
That's
good stuff. That's why I didn't play much, and plus work.
The Dream, American Dream, or
no, up in Goshen. Is it Goshen? Is how you say it? Goshen, New York.
Oh,
the actual Legoland. It's a theme park. It's got like it's got a big roller coaster, one of them, and it's got like 10 rides to go through. It's kiddie-ish, obviously. It's Legoland, but there was a couple, but the roller coaster was pretty awesome. So it was good. The coolest attraction.
Myth also, but just in the mall, but that's small.
Yeah, this was big. I mean, they just opened like 2 years ago, and they have like a big any city in the largest city, not any city, but the larger cities in America. Like they have like Hollywood, New York. They've done recreated with Lego. It was pretty awesome to see it. So, like City Field was there. They call it Kiddie Field because they can't use the actual names, but they can use the likeness. So, but it was fun to see all that stuff. Las Vegas was there. You can see all of Las Vegas. The Mount Rushmore, the presidents sing, but they're all made out of Lego. It's pretty awesome. So I enjoyed that. But all right, let's get into some news, guys. A couple things going on. We've got let's see, Turtles game. We talked about the last Ronin game coming out. It looks like Mutant Mayhem is getting a game. It will be out in 2024, as we had talked about.
That's weird. It's like somebody said that. I don't know. That's so weird.
I don't know how much of a game this is going to be, though. Like, I feel like these tie-ins to like their active properties are glorified Flash games. Like, that's what.
That's how Turtles has always been.
Not necessarily.
Turtles has always had a tie-in to whatever cartoon
video game.
Yeah. What are you talking about, dude? Every incarnation of the Turtles cartoon has had tie-in video games.
Yeah, well, you have seasons of a show. It's like you get a game like after 5 seasons. This is based on a movie that just came out. Like, I don't see this turnaround. Like, you don't get movie tie-ins that often anymore because the time.
But they're doing a TV show.
They are doing a show spin-off from this to kind of lead into what they want to do.
Isn't about that. The TV show is totally different than the movie.
No,
it's a continuation to go into the next movie.
Oh yeah,
So, I mean, I'm interested in this because the movie was great. Mike, did you see it? I don't remember you saw it yet.
Not yet.
You deserve. It's out. Like you can get it at home. So
I know, but Ashley doesn't want to watch it, so I'll
tell her it's actually really entertaining. So I think
I don't know.
It's not classic Turtles. It's kind of a mix of all the new age stuff with some classic Turtles. How about that? So, but anyways, not shocked that this game's coming out. I am shocked about the news that Gearbox, the company behind Borderlands series, is reportedly up for sale.
Well, Bracer Group just wants to offload it probably because
they're not doing well. Yeah, they were offloading a lot of stuff, and so where do we see that?
They just bought them like 2 years ago for $1.2 billion or something like that.
If it wasn't for Microsoft shit, I would speculate Microsoft, but
So where do they go? I think it's going to be like Tencent.
I don't think they go anywhere. I think Gearbox buys himself out and goes independent again.
I disagree with you. I think Tencent.
I mean, sure.
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm telling you that's who I think is going to be.
I mean, I just think Embracer just wants to offload them as much as possible. So it could be anybody.
I do not think they go independent again. I just think that they're going to be sold to somebody else. It could be Amazon Gaming.
No, there's no fucking way.
Amazon and Apple reportedly wanted to increase their gaming aspect of things. So maybe they buy them.
Would never fucking do that, dude. That is
Amazon seems like a luckier.
I would speculate it's probably actually NetEase.
NetEase.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the one I was trying to think of. I couldn't remember the name.
Because they are. I mean, they poach so many Japanese developers.
Yeah.
Including the Yakuza head, former Sega R&D head and stuff like that. I mean.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I just don't. I don't see EA doing it. I don't see
any American company.
I don't see any American companies doing it.
Yeah. Let's go into Unity. Actually, who cares about? There's E3 news this week, but I really don't care. Let's talk about the Unity stuff. So E3 is just basically trying to reboot itself. It's not going to happen. So what's going on with Unity about the change of our business model, which includes new additions to our subscription plans, and an introduction of a runtime fee? Tony.
What does any of this mean?
Yeah, so this is
this
is fucking huge. This is like a bomb today. So Unity is one of the popular engines that a lot of indie develop, but even big publishers use for some games.
Assassin's Creed use this?
I think I don't follow
Assassin's Creed. Fairly certain.
I'm sure there's probably one or two, at least one.
A game called Assassin's Creed Unity.
But
But this is an engine.
They are changing their end user license agreement for the publishers and developers to change the monetization model, where now it's based on installs, right? So once you reach a certain amount of installs, then this kicks in, and every time somebody installs your game, you have to they have to pay Unity, right? And if you read the bullshit clause and stuff like that, it's not just like, let's say I buy whatever game, right? And I install it once. And then for some reason I uninstall it. And then I'm like, a couple months later, I want to reinstall that. That counts. And the developer has to pay again for me to install that.
If you successfully create,
paid.
You create a game that's shocking and shocks the world and sells millions of copies, they make money off of that because it's their engine. And I'm like, you're buying their engine to begin with to make the game. That's all that matters usually. Like that's why this is bull. Like I don't like this at all. Like I think that's
this is idea. Absolutely awful. I have not seen a single fucking publisher developer talking about this being a good positive change or anything. It's pure greed. And so by the way, it's 20 cents per install. And you might be like, hey, that's not that bad. But when you think about all the games that are free to play that are running on Unity, like that adds up a fucking lot. Like that adds up a lot, especially to the small developers. That's going to be like fucking huge. So we'll see. Right now, there's a lot of devs pushing back on this. There's a lot of people that have already just outright said online, like, yeah, this is fucking bullshit. Like this will absolutely hurt us and the gaming industry if it goes through. So it's just bad news all around. And honestly, if it doesn't get reverted, if it doesn't get walked back, this, like, people are just going to switch to Unreal or something like that. They're just going to. This will absolutely kill that engine, and it's unfortunate because Unity is actually one of the more popular ones that works on a lot of platforms and different scalabilities with
that's
hardware.
Probably where their heads at. It's like, oh, we're so popular and needed in this industry that we can just make up these.
But Unreal is out there, and that's very easy to program for too. So it's like,
yes, but they're doing different things too.
They are. You're right. But yeah. I mean, as Tony said, the free to play stuff, Unity is usually the backbone of it. But I'm like, it opens the door for other engines to come in and be like, hey, listen, look at this.
So the other thing too is that this counts free install, like free downloads, including something like Game Pass, right? So actually, the account Aggro Crab Games posted today on their Twitter. They said, "Hey gamers, today Unity, the engine we use to make our games, announced that they'll soon be taking a fee from developers for every copy of the game installed over a certain threshold, regardless of how that copy was obtained. Guess who has a somewhat highly anticipated game coming to Xbox Game Pass in 2024. That's right, it's us and a lot of other developers. That means another Crab's Treasure will be free to install for the 25 million Game Pass subscribers. And if a fraction of those users download our game, Unity could take a fee that puts an enormous dent in our income and threatens the sustainability of our business. And that's before we even think about sales on other platforms, pirated installs, which apparently counts, or even multiple installs by the same user. So like you have like an iPad and an iPhone, that's two installs that counts.
Oh my god.
So this decision puts us and countless other studios in a position where we might not be able to justify using Unity for our future titles. And if these changes aren't rolled back, we'll be heavily considering abandoning our wealth of Unity expertise we've accumulated over the years and starting from scratch in a new engine, which is really something we'd rather not do. On behalf of the dev community...
That's what Unity's banking on.
Yep. On behalf of the dev community, we're calling Unity to reverse the latest in a string of short-sighted decisions that seem to prioritize shareholders over their product's actual users. I fucking hate it here. And that was actually the last sentence of their tweet, which is crazy.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's horrible.
It's awful. Complete greed. And I actually didn't know this, but apparently Unity is run by a former EA executive.
Not surprised.
Yeah, who actually, I forget what he wanted to charge you for, but some bullshit back in the day. And it's funny because somebody else was saying Suda51, a guy like he makes No More Heroes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He actually put one of the major antagonists in that series. He named him after the Unity lead, like the president or something like that. And you wind up like murdering this dude, I'm pretty sure, or something like that. And
wow.
During the development of the last No More Heroes game, he was like Suda was a huge advocate for Unreal Engine. Like he showed up and was like talking about Unreal. So this kind of like seems like it's now this all makes sense why it's like okay, there's beef there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so fuck.
See how this goes.
Unity.
Hopefully they roll back by next week.
Unreal. Somebody from Unreal just like tweeted out something about we only succeed when you succeed. Our 5% royalty model only kicks in after first $1 million in gross revenue, meaning that if you make $1,001, you owe us 5 cents.
Yeah.
That's like the Sony. How do you borrow a game on our system?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what this is right now.
And revenue generated from Epic Game Store will be excluded from that 5% royalty.
Yeah.
Wow. That's good.
That's funny.
That's it. They're going to capitalize.
Yeah. And if you work with Unreal, you work with Unreal, you get the full support of them. Like they can help you out with, troubleshooting, bug fixes, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Yeah, I don't see the negatives here, but
nope.
All right. That's it for the news, guys. That's going to wrap up this episode. So thanks for tuning in. Once again, we are live on Twitch Tuesday night starting at 8 o'clock. Please join us. You get the conversations, chat with us. We're on YouTube the following day, and for...
sorry. Supposedly Nintendo Direct Thursday. Rumor.
Oh, yeah. I did see that. Is that true? Oh,
we don't know. People were expecting the announcement today, but it didn't happen, so probably tomorrow.
Okay.
But a lot of people have been... Too many people have been talking about it for it to not happen. And historically, they've always had it before Tokyo Game Show kicks off, which is next week.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think right now the current rumors are F-Zero 99, kind of like Mario 99 and Pac-Man 99.
Yep. I saw that.
And something else, but
Tetris. Yeah. All right. I don't know. There's a bunch of I saw on there as a list, but we'll see. All right. Hopefully we'll have some stuff to talk about for that next week. So we'll talk to you guys soon. That's going to wrap up this episode. Thanks for tuning in. We are out.